Hello, I want to talk about booze and business today and why you should up your prices. Yeah, or at least consider them. At least think about what that would look like. Don't worry, if you want more of this, just go over to my £20 shop and there's a training in there called Designing Your Pricing Menu, which might be useful. Anyway, back to booze and business. If you were a teenage drinker, like I might have been, if my mum's asking, definitely not. She actually knows. She witnessed the effects of that teenage drinking. Maybe she even saw some of it in my 20s and my 30s, but that's a story for another time. Back to booze and business. When you were a teenager, it was a case of, certainly in our small village, whatever booze you could get your hands on, in whatever quantities, in whatever mixes, you were doing it. You were absorbing it all. It was great. A boy from another village would bring you something, some bottle in a brown plastic bag, brown paper bag from the offie, and you'd be chuffed with it. You'd be thrilled, and you were so I was so thin and like flimsy as a teenager that you'd have a couple of sips and all of a sudden you'd be like, woo, this is great, give me more, until you weren't. Until your parent had to come and pick you up and have a stern word with you and maybe ground you, even though you'd be like, right, everybody's going out tomorrow night. And they'd be like, well, you're not. You're not. No way. And this is the interesting thing about business as well. When you first start, you want to consume everything because it feels like you've opened up a new world. Like, oh my goodness, there's people out there doing digital things. Like, this is amazing. This is a whole new world. And like, there's inspiring podcasts. And I know that when I started coaching, I suddenly like opened up this magic level of self-development, like I was in Candy Crush, and was like, oh, look at all this whole new world. And what that can do is encourage you to keep on consuming. Like, I just want all of the things. But there's going to become a point, like the booze as a teenager, where you have to go, I need to stop and just have a little look at this. When I drink fluorescent blue drinks, they don't make me feel good. Or I don't want to be having a wine when I've got to go back into college and finish my A-levels, etc. And I want you to be really discerning about what you want to consume as a business owner and really start to cultivate it. So these days, I've got 2 small children. I actually don't drink a lot. I enjoy a drink when I have one, but it's something that is probably a bit more measured or considered these days, rightly or wrongly. I think it's because I'm so tired by the time the evening goes, I just sort of fall asleep and do that. But if it was like a bit like the thing with drinks, okay, so a beer garden on a bright, sunny, lovely afternoon. Oh, a Pimm's, a mojito. Oh, that would be brilliant. Or sometimes a vodka lime and soda. Like your first, maybe you've been doing stuff in the afternoon and then you have a vodka lime and soda while you're getting ready. Or that Prosecco when you're toasting somebody. And that's how I view what I consume in my business now. I'm really considered about what I need and what I want and what feels a match for me. So whenever you feel tempted, I guess, just to keep consuming and not do anything with it and just keep layering it on layering it like the booze in your teenage years perhaps, take a moment to stop and reflect, because actually there'll become this point where you go, I just feel a bit sick, or I just feel a bit overwhelmed, just feel a bit frustrated, I'm just feeling all the things and I'm not actually getting the stuff that I want to. And start to take a step back and consider what you actually need and what would be useful and what would be useful right now. So sometimes I have these with moments with coaching clients where I'll work with somebody for a really long period of time and then they need something fresh. And they'll go and work with another coach or another specialist or a mentor or all kinds of things and spend the money from their business for development in other areas. And then they come back and then we do more work, and there's that lovely sort of flow. But equally, I don't ever want to feel like I'm forcing somebody to consume something that they don't. And I would love you to consider what that looks like in your business. Yes, it can feel really satisfying sometimes to listen to all the podcasts and feel inspired and uplifted and all the rest of it in that moment. But what are you doing with that information once you've consumed it? It's an interesting one. If you want to work with me, actually, in terms of coaching, do apply for a free strategy call. You can fill in the form on my website under the free session. You can DM me, email hello@nikkiraby.com, and I look forward to hearing from you. Bye.